The gaze in my work is unapologetically a Black woman's gaze loving other Black women. You know, that's the gaze. I'm Mickalene Thomas. I'm an artist, filmmaker, sometimes curator, collaborator, and you're in my studio. One of the things that really is a constant in my life is Jet magazine and the beauty of the week. Jet magazine was sort of this Black American cultural media Bible for, you know, that you went, it was like everything. And then it was this page about the beauty of the week, which was fascinating. Who are these women, the description of who they are, and thinking about Janet, who's from Atlanta and who does horseback riding and who goes to Spelman or whatever, you know, like, and they're in these, you know, bathing suits, sort of like these pageantries. But that was like, for me, this first notion of beauty. I started as a real, I would say, like an Abax painter. All over painting, sort of the physicality of it, thinking about Clement Greenberg and all of those conceptual, theoretical ideas about painting and formalism, and like, I wanted to be a painter's painter. But even working abstractly, I collage. I was using different fabric and cutting things and putting them on surfaces, but I didn't really call it collage. Once I got to graduate school, I was really encouraged to take a photo class with David Hilliard, an incredible photographer. Once I took this photo class, I started looking at and thinking about the Black body in media, and particular stereotypes related around notions of beauty. I started thinking about my own body, and then I started to look at my own life and relationship to my mother. I went to New Jersey and started photographing her as Pam Grier. And while photographing her, I was also photographing myself, and the need to see myself more in my work. I couldn't deny it. I just remember one day starting to paint myself, and that began by photographing myself dressed up as Mary J. Blige, or dressed up as women that I grew up idolizing. Like, for instance, Naomi Sims, who was a Black model in the late 70s, who was really sort of one of the first for her time to really speak for Black women and sort of their wellness. These women are defining another way of how we will look at sort of what is beauty. Because it's not necessarily just the surface, it's also the action, you know, how they define themselves and how they persevere and how they withstand circumstance and obstacles. That's always been something that I look to for women that I'm celebrating in my work.